Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some more Octopath Traveler 2, and today we got a short video coming up. It's going to be all about where to locate all 6 of the rusty weapons. For those of you guys that don't know, the rusty weapons contribute towards the secret Armsmaster Advanced class. This particular class, it benefits not from investing job points like the rest of them, but instead, if you want to unlock the skills available, as well as the support skills, you need to give the rusty weapons to the Blacksmith in Gravell, who is the same guy that gives you the license to use Armsmaster in the first place. For those of you guys that don't know, Gravell is located to the far northeast of Crackridge, all the way on the western side of the continent, and basically you want to talk to this guy by entering the town, going to the debt collector that's going at a door. You want to knock him out with whatever you got, and then you want to go inside and talk to him to initiate the quest to find the 6 divine weapons, and that's going to be what we're doing today. We're going to show you all 6 locations, because with the Armsmaster you get access to all these fine little weapons, and the skills that are associated with these weapons can only be used when they are equipped. So each of them, they probably stand head and shoulders above the rest of them in their class, not necessarily because of the physical attack power, but because of the auxiliary effects that they enjoy. There are definitely going to be weapons that are stronger for the most part, but the effects that they have can prove to be very, very useful, and it does bode well for us if we plan to give weapons to other characters that aren't necessarily going to be our Armsmaster. Also, I apologize in advance if I end up saying Warmaster instead of Armsmaster. They sound very, very similar. It's the same series. I'm sorry, but they are not the same. But we'll talk about that later. I will do a showcase for the Armsmaster class in the very, very near future. But for now, let us talk about the locations, and there are a lot of them to consider. I actually messed up. I wasn't recording when I found the very, very first rusty weapon that we're going to talk about today, and that is going to be the Rusty Staff. This can be found in the seat of the water sprite, and maybe some people have already found this, especially if you wanted to go to Montwise. This is located 2 screens to the west of Montwise, and you have to get into a canoe, go through the cave under the waterfall, and then you're going to see the treasure chest in full view. However, you do need to go around there the long way in order to get to it, but on the way there you'll also encounter another red treasure chest that has the Blessing in Disguise accessory. This could also be useful in the future if more cursed weapons or forbidden weapons can be found by us, but you definitely want to continue on, and you will find the Rusty Staff, which has the very, very wonderful effect of giving you SP recovery based on 1% of the damage that you inflict. It's a very, very powerful weapon, and the skill of the Armsmaster itself scales with the elemental damage that the weapon has, which happens to be quite a lot for this weapon. Now, moving on to the next location is going to be the Rusty Sword. You might have noticed if you went to Winterbloom, there is a sword in the stone. But if you want to access that sword in the stone, you actually need to head over to Or's Rush. Or's Rush in the Wildlands, go into the weapon store, make a left, and you will see a former miner. You can steal or buy his pickaxe, take it all the way back to Winterbloom, talk to the NPC there, and she will unearth the sword in the stone for you, which just so happens to be the Rusty Sword. Now, the Rusty Sword, when it gets turned into the Conqueror's Sword, is quite powerful. Basically, the whole idea is that it only has 200 physical attack power, which is noticeably lower compared to the Forbidden Blade, but if you break an enemy using the sword, its power increases by an additional 250 for a staggering 450 physical attack during a break, which can be very, very potent, especially used in conjunction with other sword skills. So yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to as well. It's a decent sword in its own right. There are plenty of great swords in this game that you'll probably notice as you make your way to finding all these other ones, but we'll talk about that at another time. Now, the next weapon on our list is going to be the axe. I love my axes, so obviously I want to talk about this as soon as possible. If you want to find this one, you need to make your way to the Quicksand Jail, which is going to be west of the town of Sai. Making your way here, you're going to find a large cavernous room with a single treasure chest in the middle. The moment you approach this treasure chest, you will be attacked by the Lord of the Sands, and this particular boss is relatively easy. I would say that if you're going to be doing this, theoretically you could go for these weapons as early as like the mid-20s. But for the purposes of safety, I would recommend at least 40 plus. It's very easy to level grind in this game. Unless you're doing a challenge run or if it's just something that you want to set up for yourself, you could do this at lower levels, but it does make it easier when you're trying to make your way from one area to the next, and having higher levels means that you have a higher chance of running away and not being caught off guard and accidentally wiping. That being said though, there's also plenty of save points in the game, but yeah, take advantage of that, make your way, fight against this boss. This particular boss has a weakness to sword, dagger, axe, ice, and light elements. He has the ability to summon other people with him that are much weaker, and he has also this very, very annoying gimmick where he swallows one of your party members whole, meaning that you're probably going to be fighting this entire boss fight with only 3 characters. That being said though, he's not a particularly challenging fight. Do whatever you can, throw in whatever high damage abilities that you got at him, and you should be able to do just fine with the 3 characters, and the axe is yours. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is going to be the spear, and the spear is relatively straightforward to get, although the location is fairly out of the way for people that are unfamiliar. What you want to do is make your way to the Leaflands. You could go to Wellgrove, or relatively speaking, there's also Cropdale, but in the town of Wellgrove, you want to make your way to the east, to the north, the west, and then north again, and you'll find Timberain. Timberain is a wonderful, bustling castle town, and if you make your way one additional screen north, you'll find yourself in the town square. Inside of the town square, you will notice that there is a staircase to the west, and there is an old guard. You could pickpocket him for a very neat bow, but what you want to do is ambush him or knock him out, and then go through the door that he is guarding, and that is going to lead you to the rusty spear, which is going to be one more rusty weapon for you to get. The particular area in and of itself is fairly late game. There are plenty of good things for you to get here as well, so there's a wealth of things for you to find here, and not just the rusty spear, but that is one more divine weapon in your pocket. So the dagger is going to be a bit of a engaged affair, but basically, when you have Particio in your team, you will notice that there is a sense of commerce happening over in Tropu-Hopu, or Tropu-Hopu? And yeah, you're over there, and basically you want to make your way all the way to the east until you reach the shipyard, and then you can talk to the shipwright to begin Particio's commerce quest, which will result in you being able to buy a boat from her for 100,000 of your hard-earned leaves. This may seem like a steep price, but this opens up the world literally. This is a wonderful, wonderful way to traverse through the world, and you will basically be at the open sea, which has a danger level of 31, and this will also give you access to a shipwreck in the very middle of the map. As you can see over here, just off the coast of the shores of Crackridge is going to be the shipwreck of the Empress. This is going to be danger level 48, but if you make your way all the way to the top towards the captain's cabin, you will find the next rusty weapon, which is the rusty knife. That being said, there's also plenty of great things to find in the sea itself, so you definitely want to get to this either way, even if you weren't going for the rusty weapons. But making your way to Tropu-Hopu and then buying that ship, you can customize it with whatever colors and flags that you want, and yeah, a good time to be had. Pick up that knife and you are well on your way. You are almost done. Unfortunately, not quite done, because now we have to deal with what is, in my opinion, the most annoying of the rusted weapon to get, and that is going to be the bow. The bow can be found in the Sinking Ruins, which is located north of Tropu-Hopu and north of the, the Beasting Village. So basically, you want to make your way north through the western Tropu-Hopu Traverse towards the southern Nameless Village Traverse, which is a very watery area, and you have to make your way towards the Sinking Ruins. The Sinking Ruins has a single save spot at the beginning. It's a relatively small area, but you have to make your way through a fairly linear pathway in order to reach the treasure chest, which is being guarded by the behemoth boss. This boss is really annoying. I would recommend pulling out all the stops for this. Do not skimp on any of the spending for hired help if you have to, especially if you're trying to get this done early. This guy is annoying simply because he can petrify. No, it's not that he can. He will petrify one party member at the very beginning, unless you're lucky to have one of those rare items that cures petrification. Or you have something that makes a character immune to petrification and they happen to target that character, which is a huge RNG chance. You will have to fight against an enemy with 99,000 HP with only 3 characters. Not to mention that if the battle goes on for too long, he may petrify a second party member, and that just might be curtains for you and your party, at least for that run. Just reload the save, try again, don't worry about it. I would fully recommend pulling out all the stops for this one, just spamming maximum boosted beastling summons for the hired help. This particular boss has a weakness to spears, bows, axes, and ice. So yeah, try to work away as best as you can, make use of armor corrosive to lower his defenses as well. 99,000 is a fairly intimidating amount of HP, probably more than most people have fought at this point that they have been playing, probably. So yeah, definitely pull out all stops for this one, but once you win, you get the bow, and that is going to be the 6th and final of the rusted weapons, and you pretty much have access to all of the skills. Take it over to the blacksmith and he will unlock all of the skills for you, as well as give you a very handy shield, which increases your defensive powers even further. So yeah, I would say that the nice thing about this particular adventure with all the rusted weapons is that they're not necessarily the top class of their particular weapon classes, or top of the class in their particular weapon classes, but they do have a useful purpose in and of itself, and honestly, with some more experimentation with the Armsmaster class itself, we may be able to find some really broken things. On first glance, it doesn't seem nearly as broken as the War Master from the first game, but I'm okay with that. I don't need to use the same tools that I've used for however long I've been playing that first Octopath game. I want something new, and Octopath 2 is the perfect chance and opportunity to experiment with some new toys, and the Armsmaster is just one of the many new toys that they've offered us in this particular game. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Good luck, best of luck to you guys, that you stay safe trying to get these rusty weapons, and I will see you guys in the next video as we go a little bit more in depth and talking more about the new classes that this sequel has given us. Take care, everyone.